The Unknown Reality, Session 698, May 20th, 1974, 9:28 p.m., a Monday. And this is Seth speaking now. These blueprints for reality are relatively invisible because you have allowed yourself to forget their existence. To pursue certain goals you pretended they did not exist. Now, however, your global situation as a race requires a new acquisition of some ancient arts. These can help you become aware again of those inner idealizations that form your private reality and your mass world. They can permit you to become acquainted with other inward orders of events and the rich bed of possibilities from which your physical existence emerges. These arts are useless if they are not practiced. Useless in that they lie ever latent and they are not brought into the exterior framework of your world. To use these arts requires first of all the knowledge that beneath the world that you know is another, that alongside the focus of consciousness with which you are familiar, there are other focuses quite as legitimate. You dream, each of you, but there are few great dream artists. Many of the true purposes of dreams have been forgotten, even though those purposes are still being fulfilled. The conscious art of creating, understanding, and using dreams has been largely lost, and the intimate relationship between daily life, world events, and dreams almost completely ignored. The future of the species is being worked out in the private and mass dreams of its members, but this also is never considered. The members of some ancient civilizations, including the Egyptians, knew how to be the conscious directors of dream activity, how to delve into various levels of dream reality, to the founts of creativity, and they were able to use that source material in their physical world. Cellular life is affected by your dreams. Healings can take place in a dream state where events at another order of existence alter the cells themselves. Rupert has been exploring the reality of dream levels, and in so doing, he is beginning to glimpse their significance. To some extent, each reader can initiate such private journeys. These dream expeditions, throw great light on the nature of personal daily experience and will also provide personal knowledge of the ways in which probabilities operate. I said earlier in this book that the world you know arises from basic unpredictability, from which significances then emerge. No system of reality is closed. The particular string of probable actions that you call your official experience does not just dangle then out in space and time. It interweaves with such strands that you do not recognize. In the waking state, the conscious mind must focus rather exclusively upon one particular point of concentration that you call reality, simply so that it can direct your activities properly in temporal life. It is quite equipped, however, also to direct you to some extent in other levels of reality when it is not needed for specific survival duties. Because you have in the past convinced yourself that the conscious mind must of necessity be cut off from inner reality, you think that it must be alienated from the dream state. Following such beliefs, you find yourself thinking of dreaming as chaotic, unreasonable, and as completely divorced from normal conscious direction, purpose, or function. It often seems that sleep is almost a small death, and psychologists have compared dreaming with controlled insanity. You have so divorced your waking and dreaming experience that it seems you have separate lives and that there is little connection between your waking and dreaming hours. The rich tapestry of probable actions from which you choose your official life becomes just as invisible. This is quite needless. And now there are some notes at the end of this. And one of these notes is particularly interesting, so I'm going to read it to you here. The dream world, this is again Seth speaking, the dream world is indeed a natural byproduct of the relationship between the inner self and the physical being, not a reflection, therefore, but a byproduct involving not only a chemical reaction, but the transformation of energy from one state to another. In some respects, all planes or fields of existence are indeed byproducts of others. For example, without the peculiar spark set off through the interrelationship existing between the inner self and the physical being, the dream world would not exist. But conversely, the dream world is a necessity for the continued existence of the physical individual. This point is extremely important. As you know, animals dream. What you do not know is that all consciousnesses dream. We have said that to some extent even atoms and molecules have consciousness, and each one of those minute consciousnesses form its own dreams, even as, on the other hand, each one forms its own physical image. Now, as the physical field, individual atoms, no, let me start the sentence again. Now, as in the physical field, individual atoms combine for their own benefit into more complicated structure gestalts, so do they also combine to form such gestalts, though of a similar different nature, in the dream world. I have said that the dream world has its own sort of form and permanence. It is physically oriented, though not to the degree inherent in your ordinary universe, in the same manner that the physical image of an individual is built up. So the dream image is built up. The dream world is not a formless, haphazard semi-construction. It does not exist in bulk, but it does exist in form. This is not a contradiction nor a distortion. The true complexity and importance of the dream world as an independent field of existence has not yet been impressed upon you. Yet, while your world and the dream world are basically independent, they still exert pressures and influences one upon the other. It is essential that you realize that the dream world is a byproduct of your own existence, and because it is connected to you through chemical reactions, this leaves open the entryway of interactions in animals as well as men. Since dreams are a byproduct of any consciousness involved within matter, this leads us to the correct conclusion that trees have their dreams, that all physical matter, being formed about individualized units of consciousness of varying degrees, also participates in the involuntary construction of the dream universe.